This conference will now be recorded.
Total 5 introduction classes we'll have. Out of 5 introduction classes, we are done with class 1. In the class 1, what we discussed is we discussed about introduction to Power BI and we discussed about Power BI architecture. These are the 2 points which we discussed in the class 1. So let me give you a high level recap what we discussed in the class 1. In the class 1, we said that Power BI is the name for collection of softwares. These are the different softwares we have in Power BI. We use all these softwares to implement the business intelligence process. To implement business intelligence process. In the introduction class, I clearly explain what is business intelligence process, how to implement this business intelligence process. We discussed in the introduction class, first class. When you join in the company, I said that companies will provide the OLTP databases. Once after providing the OLTP databases, they will ask you to generate some reports to analyze the data. Companies will ask you to generate some reports to analyze the data. As OLTP databases are not recommended to create the reports, Power BI developer first he need to create a OLAP database. And to move the data from OLTP database to OLAP database, he need to use ETL softwares. Once he move the data using ETL softwares, once OLAP database is ready, that OLAP database he need to use for creating the reports. That reports finally he need to share with the clients. That reports will help companies to analyze their data. Here, you need to perform all these activities. When company provided the OLTP databases in Power BI, where we will do the ETL is Power Query. Where we will create the OLAP database is Power Pivot. Where we will create the reports is Power View. How you can share that reports with the clients is either using Power BI service or Power BI report server. So I clearly explain this Power BI architecture in the introduction class. So Power Query is used to do the ETL. It will extract the tables from OLTP databases. It will transform the data in the tables. It will load the tables to the database called Power Pivot. In this Power Pivot database, you will create a OLAP database. That OLAP database you will use in Power View to generate the reports. That reports will contain actionable information. Finally, you need to share with the clients. To share with the clients, either you need to publish it to the Power BI service or either you need to publish it to the Power BI report server. From there, we need to share with the clients. This is the business Power BI architecture, what we discussed in the introduction class. So whatever we discussed theoretically in the class 1, in the coming 4 introduction classes, whatever I discussed in the class 1, in the coming 4 introduction classes, we will practically understand them. We'll try to practically understand them. Now, let's start one by one. We will start now. Now, class number 2. So, what is the agenda for class 2 is Power BI developer work will start in Power BI desktop software. Where the Power BI developer work will start means in Power BI desktop. This data sources will be provided by our companies. Power BI developer will start his work in the Power BI desktop. In today's class, we'll try to understand how to download and install Power BI desktop software, how to download and install Power BI desktop software, Power BI desktop software. From where you need to download, how to install it, first we'll understand. Once you understand that, second thing we'll try to understand is we'll start the practicals. Once you download and install Power BI desktop, in today's class, we'll start one by one software. Understanding Power Query, how to do ETL, we'll understand slowly one by one. Fine. Let me tell you, first point, Power BI desktop is a free software. I'm talking about this software, guys. One of the important software for Power BI developer. Where we will do when Power BI developer join in the company, 90% of time, Power BI developer will work in desktop only. And Microsoft is providing this software for free of cost. Okay, when Microsoft is providing this software for free of cost, what Microsoft will get? Understanding the point? When Microsoft is providing this Power BI software for free of cost, what they will get? What they will get? They will not get anything, right? So what they'll get is, in order to share the okay, this Power BI desktop will help you to generate the reports. But if you want to share that reports with the client, either you need to publish it to the Power BI service, or either you need to publish it to the Power BI report server. From there, we need to share to the clients. These two are paid software. This Power BI service, this Power BI report server, both are paid softwares. Right. This is the place where Microsoft will get the money. This also Microsoft softwares only. Power BI desktop might be free. Power BI desktop is free, but this Power BI service and Power BI report server both are paid, guys. These two are paid. Fine. Now we are telling that Power BI desktop is a free software. Companies can use it for free of cost. Developers can use it for free of cost. Anybody can use it for free of cost. Then where you can find this software to download it? You can find this software in the Google easily. You can just go to the Google and you can download it. Let me show you where is the place you can download that software. You open any web browser in your laptop and open the search engine Google and search for Power BI desktop software download. Power BI desktop software download. When you search for Power BI desktop software download, you will go to a link called download Microsoft Power BI. Right click on this link, open this link, guys. Once you open this link, you'll go to a web page from where you can download Power BI tools and applications. I said that Power BI is collection of softwares. Softwares, another name is tools. Power BI softwares or Power BI tools or Power BI applications, you can download it from here. You'll understand, guys. There are major software here is no doubt Power BI desktop. And we have other softwares like Power BI mobile and Power BI report server. We discussed it. Power BI report server. Like this, we have other softwares, gateways, all this. You will understand every software. All these softwares are nothing, guys. Uh, the major software, all these softwares are nothing. The major software is Power BI desktop. We'll see other softwares also. Now, if you want to download Power BI desktop, don't go to download. Go to advanced download option. Right click, open the link. Go to advanced download option. I'm copying the URL from where you can download the Power BI desktop software. I'll share this notepad once after the class. So you'll get this URL. You just copy the URL and open any web browser in your laptop and paste that URL. You'll directly go to the page where you can download the Power BI desktop software. You can see here Microsoft Power BI desktop and you can click on download here. Choose the language and click on download. Here two softwares you'll get it. One is 64-bit software, second one is 32-bit software. One is 64-bit software, second one is what? 32-bit. So which one I need to download? 64-bit or 32-bit? So it depends
64.
upon, it's not always 64-bit, it's not always 32-bit. It depends upon uh, the OS we have in our laptop. Let me tell you, let me tell you prerequisites to install Power BI desktop software. I'm planning to, I have a, in my home, I have a laptop, or in my home, I have a desktop. I'm planning to install in my laptop or desktop. I'm planning to install which software now? Power BI desktop. In order to install this Power BI desktop in your laptop or desktop, already you need to install some more softwares, prerequisites. What are the prerequisites? Let me tell you here, guys. Prerequisites to install Power BI desktop software. I have a laptop or desktop, in that I want to install it. So what are the prerequisites is, instead of typing, I will copy paste the prerequisites from this page. When you go to this page, there is something called what here? System requirements. When I go here, I'll just copy it from here instead of typing them. What are the prerequisites is, first one is supporting operating system, OS. In your laptop, which OS you need to have? Supporting operating system. Which OS you need to have in your laptop is, you need to have any one of these OS, guys. Understand? In my laptop, I need to have either Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, or Windows 11. That means Windows 8 or later version you need to have in your laptop. In your laptop or desktop, let's say I have a laptop. Let's say in my laptop I have Windows 7. Tell me, can I go and install Power BI Desktop on Windows 7? No. I have a
No.
laptop. In my laptop, Windows 7 will not support. In my laptop, I have Mac OS. Can I go and install Power BI Desktop on Mac OS? Means no, it will not support. I have a laptop. In my laptop, I have Linux OS. Can I go and install Power BI Desktop on Linux? Means no. You need to make sure to have one of the OS in your laptop. Okay, fine. So when let me check in my laptop which OS we have. I'm going to my PC and I'm checking in my laptop which OS I have. I have what? Windows 11. Can I go and install on Windows 11 laptop this Power BI Desktop? Yes. In this list we have it. And again I need to check every OS operating system. This every OS will comes with 64-bit and 32-bit. You need to check Windows. You have Windows 64-bit OS or Windows 30. Some people will install Windows. Every software will comes with two versions, 32-bit and 64-bit. You need to check whether you have 64-bit or 32-bit. In my laptop, which one I have? 64-bit operating system. That means this Windows 11 64-bit is there. There are chances that 32-bit software also you might have it. So when you have 64-bit OS, you need to download Power BI Desktop 64-bit. It will support Power BI Desktop 64-bit as well as it will support Power BI Desktop 32-bit. It will even support Power BI Desktop 32-bit also. But you need to, when your OS is 64-bit, recommended one is Power BI Desktop 64-bit. This will give the better performance. So when your laptop is having 32-bit OS, when your laptop is having 32-bit OS, must and should. When your laptop is having 32-bit OS, you need to download what? Power BI Desktop 32-bit. Now my laptop is having 64-bit OS. As my laptop is having 64-bit OS, it will allow you to install both 64-bit and 32-bit. But recommended is 64-bit software will give better performance than 32-bit. So options point to both are same. But for some reasons in your laptop, if you have 32-bit OS, there is no other option. You need to go and download Power BI Desktop 32-bit. No problem. You can download and install it. Now, in my current scenario, I need to download the 64-bit. Select the software, click on next. When I click on next, software will start downloading. It hardly take less than a minute to download. Let it download, guys. Once it download, I'll show you how to install it. The next step is, this is the first prerequisite. Second prerequisite is, in your laptop, to install Power BI Desktop, you need Internet Explorer 10 or greater. Understand? In our laptop, we not only want to have operating system, we need to have in our laptop Internet Explorer also 10 or greater. The latest version of Internet Explorer is Microsoft Edge. You can even have Microsoft Edge also, either Internet Explorer software or Microsoft Edge. Make sure you have this browser also. Internet Explorer is also a browser. You need to have it. And we know that Power BI Desktop is available in 32-bit as well as 64-bit. Based on the OS you have in your laptop, you need to choose one among this. These are the system prerequisites, guys. Simple prerequisites. Okay. Now, in the downloads, you got the software now. Just downloaded Power BI Desktop 64-bit software. I'll show you how to install it. So when it comes to hardware, I just tell you now software prerequisites. Let me talk about hardware. What is the hardware prerequisites? Hardware prerequisites is, so minimum RAM 4 GB or later, 4 GB or greater. So, and as a hard disk, even 256 GB hard disk is fine, even less is okay. It doesn't occupy much space when you install it. A processor, again, even it can manage i3 processor processor, either i3 or Ryzen processors, it will support almost all kind of processors it will support. But if you are purchasing a new laptop, I recommend minimum RAM go with 8 GB. If you already have a laptop with 4 GB, you go and install it, no problem, it will work out. If you are purchasing a new laptop, go with minimum 8 GB RAM. And don't go with hard disk, go with SSDs. SSD, go with SSDs, it will give better performance, right? Fine. If you are purchasing a new laptop, better, what is the RAM size is 8 GB, and what is the, go with SSD minimum 256 GB, right? Fine. These are the hardware related things. So Power BI doesn't require a high end laptop. Power BI doesn't require a high end desktop. Even a normal machine will enough, right? Now we understand the prerequisites. We successfully downloaded the Power BI software. To install that Power BI software, we even understand what are the prerequisites. Now let me show you how to install the Power BI desktop software. Installing Power BI desktop software is straightforward. Straightforward. No configuration required. Straightforward means just next. Let me show you. Go to the downloads folder, double click on the executable file or software. First, it will ask you to choose one language. Choose it, click on next. It will ask you to make the changes to your system, click on S. Click on S. It will ask, it started the installation process. Just click on next here again. It's a straightforward. Click on next. Accept the licensing terms and conditions. Click on next. It is installing in a default path called C drive. If you want to change the path, you can change it. No problem. Go and install in default path. Click on next. It will create a desktop shortcut. Now you have Chrome shortcut, Microsoft Edge shortcut. In the same way, Power BI desktop shortcut also it will create. To open the software, it is easy. Let it create. Let it create the shortcut, install. When I go and click on install, within few seconds the software will install successfully, guys. Right? Installing Power BI desktop is straightforward. No configuration required. Everyone download it today and install it so that you can start the practicals. Right? Within few seconds the installation will complete. Once the installation is complete, I will start the practicals now. We'll start practicals. Right? Hardly take few more seconds. So first, before I start the practicals, I'll give the definition of Power BI desktop first. I will define Power BI desktop in 1 or 2 lines, and then we'll start the practicals. Let it install, guys. It hardly take few seconds. Look at here. It is telling you have successfully completed the Power BI desktop installation. When I go and click on finish, it will open the software now. I don't want to open the Power BI desktop software now. I'll come back and open later. You uncheck this checkbox. Launch Microsoft Power BI desktop. This is the Power BI desktop shortcut. It will open the software now. I don't want to open the software now. If you keep this, if you finish, it will open the software now. I will open later. Uncheck this, click on finish. You successfully install Power BI desktop, guys. Now, let me tell you what is the definition for Power BI desktop, and we'll start the practicals. We know that Power BI desktop is a development software in Power BI. It's a development software in Power BI. We are aware of it. Let me tell more about it. Power BI desktop is used to, if someone asks you, tell me what is Power BI desktop, it is used to prepare the data, model the data, and visualize the data. And the last work we are going to do is visualize the data. Power BI desktop is used for doing three works. It is used for preparing the data. It is used for modeling the data. It is used for visualizing the data. Let me tell you what it is. We are telling that Power BI desktop is used for three purposes. First one is preparing the data. What is the another name of preparing the data is ETL activities. What is the another name for preparing the data? ETL. Where we will prepare the data is ETL activities. You look at here. So in Power BI Desktop, how many softwares we have? Three. We are aware of it. Power BI Desktop internally contains three. One is Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View. Tell me, first step in the BA process is preparing the data. Nothing but doing ETL. ETL can be done using which software? Which software in
Power
Power Query, Power BI
Power
Desktop?
Query.
Power Query. Power Query. The next one is once after preparing the data, second one we are telling is what? Model the data. Model the data is nothing but creating OLAP database. Creating which database? OLAP database. Where we will create OLAP databases in a software called what? Power Pivot. Third one we are telling is Power BI Desktop is also used to visualize the data. Power BI Desktop also contains one reporting software. Visualizing the data means creating what? Reports. Where we will create the reports means Power View. These are the different softwares you have in Power BI. This is what we will do in Power BI. If someone asks you, tell me about Power BI, you can answer this. Power BI Desktop. Tell me about Power BI Desktop means. Fine. Now what we will try to do is the second part of today's class. We'll try to understand the first software which is there in Power BI Desktop, guys. So what is the first software you have in Power BI Desktop? Power Query. Today, second part of today's class, we'll clearly understand Power Query, Power Query overview. Let me write here. What we will try to understand in the next coming 35 minutes is overview of Power Query software. The first software we have is Power Query. What is this Power Query? What it will do? We'll try to understand this. Overview of Power Query software. Fine. Let me tell you what we'll do there. Overview of Power Query software. First, let me start with definition of Power Query and we'll start the practicals. First thing you need to know is Power Query is an ETL software in Power BI. Is an ETL software in Power BI. We know about it. It's an ETL software that we already know. So let me tell you what it will do. What Power Query will do is instead of typing it, I'll just quickly copy paste it from here. What Power Query will do, I'll just copy paste it. What Power Query will do is, I said that Power Query is an ETL software. What it will do is, this is what Power Query will do. Power Query can connect and extract the data from any kind of data source. First step, what Power Query can do is, this Power Query can connect to any kind of data source. Wherever companies are storing the business data, we call it as what? Data sources. In Power BI terminology, wherever companies are storing their business data, they call it as data sources. Other name for data sources is what? OLTP systems. This Power Query have the capability to connect to hundreds of data sources, not one or two, hundreds. It can connect to Excel. It can extract the tables. It can connect to SQL Server. It can extract the tables. It can connect to Oracle database. It can extract the tables. It can connect to any kind of data source and it can extract the tables. Right? That is the first step Power Query will do. That is what I written. What is the second step it will do is transform the data as per what? Reporting needs. We know that ETL means first step in the ETL is extract. First step in the ETL is extract. Second step is what? Transform. Third step is what? Load. So second step, it can transform the data as per the reporting needs. That means I already said that when client provided the data in the source systems, sometimes data will be in one format. And when the client is asking to generate the reports, client will ask you to show the data in another format. Client will ask you to show the data in where? Another format. If you want to convert this data from this format, same data, to this format, where we need to transform it is once after taking the data in Power Query, we need to transform the data how I need to show in the reports. I need to transform the data how I need to show in the reports. Let's say I said that in SQL Server I have customers table. In customers table I have customer name in 3 columns: first name, middle name, last name. you have three columns, but client is asking to show data in the reports customer full name. What they're asking to show here? Customer full name. They're asking to show customer full name here. The data here is in three columns. They're expecting in one column. What you need to do is you need to take the customers table to Power Query. You need to transform the data in the customers table, how you need to show in the report. The transformed data you need to load into the OLAP database, into the Power Pivot. So that is the second step. Power Query have the capability to transform the data how your client want it as per the reporting needs. The transformed data Power Query will load into where? Power Pivot. This is what Power Query will do, guys. If someone asks you, tell me what Power Query will do, you need to tell these two lines. Power Query can able to connect and extract the data from any kind of data source, and it have the capability to transform the data how your client needs, and it will load the transformed data into where? And the data we will use it for creating what? OLAP databases. That we will see it. For today, let's try to practically understand about Power Query. Try to understand practically about what? Power Query. Fine. Let's see this practically today. This is theoretical, right? Let's see practically how Power Query will connect and extract the data, how Power Query will transform the data as per client requirement, how Power Query will load the data into Power Pivot. These 3 points I'll show practically now. If you want to work with Power Query software, you need to open which software first? Power BI Desktop. As Power Query is available in Power BI Desktop, you need to open Power BI Desktop. In order to open Power BI Desktop, you got a shortcut, right? Just go and double click on the shortcut. When I double click on the shortcut, software will open. When I double click on the shortcut, software will open. Right. Look at this. For the first time when you open Power BI Desktop software, you'll get a welcome screen or start screen like this. So you people install Power BI Desktop, you opened it. When you open it, you'll get this screen, guys. What you guys need to do is you need to close the screen. We are not going to do anything in this screen. This is a welcome screen. This is just a welcome screen. We are not going to do anything. So in the welcome screen, you'll access help documents. This is help documents like Power BI blogs, forums, tutorials. That help documents, I can even access it from here. I can access it from here. I can even access it from here. In the middle section is used for when I go and click on get started, it will ask me to sign in. I can sign in from here. I can even sign in from here. You close it. Once after that also you can sign in. We'll discuss. In the left hand side, you'll find something called get data, recent sources, open other reports. Once you close this also, you'll find get data here. You find recent sources here. You'll find open other reports in the file menu. In the file menu, you'll find it. On the whole, we are not going to do anything in this welcome screen. Just close this. Once you close this, you successfully open a software called what now? Power BI Desktop. You need to understand Power BI Desktop have three views. First one is report view. What is the name of this view? Report view. Second one is data view. Third one is model view. Currently I'm in model view. Middle one is data view. First one is report view. For the first time when you open the Power BI Desktop, you will be landing in the report view. You will be landing in this view. It is report view. Okay, we successfully understand how to open Power BI Desktop. You need to know in the Power BI Desktop, where do we have Power Query? You guys need to know in Power BI Desktop, where do we have Power Query? How to do ETL? First thing, we need to know this. Once after this, we need to know in Power BI Desktop, where do we have Power Pivot? How to create a OLAP database, you need to understand. OLAP database, we need to understand. Second thing, once you know where do you have Power Pivot, how to create a OLAP database, third thing you need to know is in Power BI Desktop, where do we have Power View? Using Power View, how to create what? Reports. Important. So we will try to understand first, where do we have Power Query in Power BI Desktop? In that Power Query, how to do ETL, we'll discuss. Once after that, we'll try to understand where do we have Power Pivot, how to create a OLAP database in Power BI Desktop, we'll understand. And then we'll try to understand in Power BI Desktop, where do we have Power View, how to generate the reports using Power View. Fine, let's start with one by one. Where do we have Power Query is? In order to open Power Query, you need to go to Home tab. You need to click on Transform Data, guys. Understand? In order to open Power Query, you need to be in the Home tab. You need to click on a button called Transform Data. When I click on Transform Data, it will open the Power Query software. Look at now. I'm going to Home tab. I'm clicking on Transform Data. Currently, I'm in which screen now? Power BI desktop screen. When I go and click on Transform Data, just observe a new screen you got. What is the screen name? Power Query Editor. This is the Power Query software where we will perform the ETL activities. Previously, I have only one screen. What is the screen previously you have only? Power BI desktop screen. Now you got another screen. What is that? Power Query Editor. For the first time when you open Power BI desktop, you don't get two screens. You have only one screen called what? Power BI desktop. In order to do ETL, so I'm planning to open Power Query. In the Power Query, I'm planning to do the ETL. In order to open Power Query, you need to go to Home tab. You need to click on Transform Data, right? It load a new screen called Power Query Editor where you will do the ETL activities. Let me write here. How to open Power Query is go to Home tab and click on Transform Data. Transform Data. When I click on Transform Data, it loaded a new screen with the name. It loaded a new screen with the name Power Query Editor. We call it as Power Query Editor user interface. Complete one, we call it as Power Query Editor user interface. In short, we call it as UI. That UI is used for performing what? ETL activities. That UI is used to performing the ETL activities. Let's see how to do the ETL activities. So in order to start the ETL activities, what you need to have? In order to start working in Power Query, what you need to have?
Dataset.
Data sources or OLTP databases. Who will provide? If there is no data sources or OLTP systems, can I start my work? Means no. Power BI developer to start working on Power Query, first you need to have the data. Who will provide this data? Company will provide. First you need to ask your company. In Power BI terminology, from where we are taking the data, they call it as data sources, guys. So as we are learning Power BI, we will follow Power BI terminology. Rather than calling OLTP systems, Power BI people will call it as what? Data sources. First, you need to ask your company where they are storing the business data. First, you need to ask your company what is the data source or data sources. I said that a company might store the data in single data source or a company might store the data in multiple data sources. You need to ask your company. Okay, so my company provided two data sources today. One is Excel, second one is SQL Server. My company is storing their business data, few business data in Excel,
Hello,
few
sir.
other business data in the SQL Server. They're asking to
Hello,
use this. Yes, tell me.
sir. If a company is having multiple OLTPs, then how can we proceed? Like,
Please make a note of the question, sir. Give me some time.
yes.
That is what I'm going to discuss now. So if the question is not answered, you can ask me at the end. Right.
Okay.
So please make a
Hmm.
note of the question. Now, my company is storing their business data in two data sources. One is what? Excel. Second one is
Excel,
what? SQL
SQL
Server.
Server.
Two data sources they are storing. So companies, as I said, companies, there are sometimes they will store the business data in multiple data sources. Some companies will store all their business data in one. They will ask you to generate the reports using one. Sometimes some business data will be stored in SQL. Some business data will be stored in Oracle. They might ask you to generate the reports using both of them. Right. In our current scenario, what are the data sources? Excellent. SQL Server. That means company is storing the data in how many data sources now? Two data sources. Using this data, they're asking to generate what? Reports. So using that reports, companies will perform what? Analysis. Analysis, right? Now, we already know it is never recommended to generate the reports directly on data sources. So in Power BI, in order to generate the reports, first you need to create a separate database called what? OLAP database. Where you need to create the database? In the Power Pivot. To create the database in the Power Pivot, first you need to move the data. From Excel files, you need to move the data to Power Pivot. From SQL Server, you need to move the data to the Power Pivot. To move the data from Excel files or SQL Server to the Power Pivot, we need to use an software called what? Power Query. Which software will move the data from data sources to OLAP database or OLTP to OLAP database is this ETL Power Query software. Let me show you. So today I'll show you how to connect to Excel, how to extract the tables. Then I'll show you how to connect to SQL Server, how to extract the tables. And then once extracting the tables into the Power Query, I'll show you how to transform the data in the tables. The transformed tables, I'll show you how to load into the Power Pivot. Fine. Once you load, then what we will do in Power Pivot, we'll discuss in tomorrow's class. Today, let's try to understand this part, ETL part. Right. Fine. Let me go and open. We already open Power Query. In Power Query, first step is what? In Power Query, first step is what? Extracting the data. Today, I need to extract the data from which sources? One is Excel. Second one is what? SQL Server. Let's understand this too. SQL Server. First, let me try to connect to Excel. To connect to Excel in Power Query, you need to use an option called what? New source. I need to bring the data from a source. You need to click on new source. Which source? Excel. There are a lot of connectors here. To connect to Excel, Excel connector. To connect to SQL Server, SQL Server connector. Let's say my company is storing the data in Oracle. Do you have Oracle connector in this list? No. You need to click on what? More. When I go and click on more, you can find hundreds of connectors. Look at this. When I go and click on more, you'll find connectors here. If you want to connect to Oracle database, you need to use this connector. So here you have connectors to connect to all the data sources, Access database, right? DB2 database, MySQL database, Sybase, almost you can connect to Teradata, SAP HANA. Like this, you can connect to lot of data sources. All these are connectors to different data sources. Fine. In the current scenario, I don't want to go to all this. I want to connect to what? Excel. So here, when I go to new source, Excel connector is there in the top. Click on Excel and browse where the Excel file is available. My Excel file is there in my Excel file is available in my desktop. In my desktop, there is one folder with the name called Power BI material folder. In that folder, there is another subfolder called Power BI introduction. In that Power BI introduction, I have the Excel file called sample superstore. I want to bring the tables from this Excel. When I go to sample superstore Excel, that sample superstore Excel have three tables. First one is orders table. Second one is what? Returns table. Third one is people sheets. We call it as sheets or tables. I want to bring the data from this Excel. So in Power Query, how to connect to Excel is we want to click on new source. We need to click on Excel and we need to browse. It is there in desktop, Power BI material, Power BI introduction. Which Excel file? Sample superstore. Select the Excel file. Click on what? Open. When I click on open, it will open that Excel and it will show the list of tables. How many tables you have in that Excel? Three tables. Three tables are sheets. You select which tables you need for reporting. I need orders table, I need people's table, and I need returns table. Once after selecting the tables, just go and press OK. When you press OK, these three tables will get into a software called what? Power Query. See how simple to connect to Excel, bring the tables. With 2 clicks from Power BI desktop, from Power Query, I connected to Excel, I bought the tables. Now I not only want to create the reports on Excel tables, I want to even create the reports on what? SQL Server tables also. Tell me, into Power Query, now you bought three tables from Excel. Into Power Query, I need to bring the tables from SQL Server also. How to bring it? Again, what? New source. From any data source, if you need to bring the data, you need to click on again new source. This time what? SQL Server. Click on SQL Server. When I click on SQL Server, it is asking to enter server name and database name. Who will provide the server names and database names? I want to provide to connect to SQL Server database. I need to provide some server name. I need to provide some database name. Who will provide this is companies will provide. When you join in the company will tell you which server name you need to use, which database name you need to use. I have some server name. I'm copying it here. This is the server. I'm just giving I'm copying the server name. I'll give the server name first. And Database name, they're telling optional. See, I want to tell one point. One SQL Server software contains multiple databases in it. Understand, the SQL Server software will contains database 1, database 2, and so on. Database 3, and so on. One database will contains table 1, table 2, table 3. One database will contains multiple tables, guys. If you remember the database name, you can give the database name. When you give the database name, it will show the tables. If you give server name and database name, in the database what tables are there, it will show. If you give only server name, it will show all the databases. If you don't remember the database name, if you give only server name, it will show all the list of databases. I'm not going to give the database name here. I want to see all the databases in the server. So for that, I'm just pressing OK. When I press OK, it will ask me to connect to this server. What is the username and password you need to use? Again, clients will tell you whether you need to connect with the database credentials, or whether you need to connect with Windows credentials, or whether you need to connect with Microsoft credentials. Clients will tell you. This time, my client is asking to connect with my current Windows credentials. My client is asking to choose Windows, and they're asking to use my current Windows credentials. Use my Windows credentials. Select this, click on connect. So while I log into my Windows, I given some username and password. So there will be single sign-on in the company where same usernames and passwords will used. So select this option, click on connect. So you are passing some username and password, it will do encryption. Just press OK. With your username and password, it will connect to that server and it will show the list of databases. This is the server. It contains how many databases? 8 databases. What a database will contains again? Tables. If you go and expand, there is a retail AB database. When I go and expand retail AB database, how many tables are there? 9 tables. When I go to AdventureWorks data warehouse, how many tables are there? 39 tables. When I go to table, table will contain what? Data. When I go to any table, table will contain some data. Now, so you might be having lot of tables here. If I go and expand it, lot of tables, hundreds of tables are there. In this 8 databases, I might have hundreds of tables. You don't need to go and bring all the hundreds of tables into the Power Query. While bringing the tables to the Power Query from SQL Server, you need to bring only the tables which you need to use in where? Reports. Only while creating the reports, what tables we need to bring it. Let's say now I need to create the reports using one database called product database. In that product database, I need to create the reports using only 3 tables. One is customer data, product data, and sales data. My client is asking to generate the reports on only these 3 tables. So I'm selecting only these 3 tables and press what? Okay. When I press OK, the 3 tables will get into the Power Query, guys. Right. See how simple to bring the tables into the Power Query. With 2 clicks, we bought the tables. How many tables totally we bought it now? 6. Where you bought that 6 tables? Power Query. 3 tables you got it from where? Excel. 3 tables you got it from where? SQL Server. So far, you are done with first step, guys. In Power Query, we are done with first step. Connecting to the data sources, extracting the data, we are done. What is the second step?
Sir, can you show
Transform the data
the
as per the
SQL once again? Hello?
transform the data as per the reporting needs. Second step. Let's
Hello,
see
sir?
how to transform the data. First thing you need to
Hello?
understand is, yes, tell me.
Sir, can you show the again once again? I have missed it somewhere.
Sir, you will get video, sir. Just I want to cover other
Okay.
things. I'll show you. At the end,
Mm,
I'll show you. Fine. So
okay.
here, once after bringing the tables, second step, what it is we need to transform the data in the tables. What we need to do? We need to transform the data in the tables. So if you want to transform the data, what you need to know? Okay, first step, you connected to the data sources, Excel, you extract 3 tables. You connected to the SQL Server, you extract another 3 tables. Second step is what? Transform the data. In order to transform the data, understand what you need to know is my question. In Power Query, second step is transform. In order to transform the data, you need to know how your client want to see the data in the reports. Yes or no? If your clients tell how they want to see the data in the reports, then only you can transform the data. Then only you can transform the data. Right. Let me tell you how to transform the data in the Power Query now. Let me tell you your client requirement. See, you bought one customer's table. In the customer's table, customer name is there in how many columns means when I go and check the columns, you have customer name column, you have customer first name, you have customer middle name, you have customer last name. What we noticed is you bought this customer's table from SQL Server. In that customer's table, customer name is there in 3 columns. I don't see any customer full name. But in the report, client is asking to show customer full name, guys. We understand one of the requirement from the client is show me customer name wise sales. Show me customer name wise sales. But they're asking to show full name. But when I go and check the customer's table, I don't have the full name. Now in Power Query, I need to combine first name, middle name, last name to the full name. I need to combine it. I need to convert 3 columns into 1 column. Combining the 3 columns into 1 column, we call it as transform, guys. We call it as what? Transform. So I need to transform the data in the Power Query. Existing data, I need to transform it. How I need to show in the reports. That is one requirement. Second requirement is in the report, client is asking to show product name wise sales. So, but that product name column, client is asking to show in capital letters. So there is a product name, the complete product name they're expecting to see in capital letters or uppercase. Now, go and check the products table data. In the products data table, there is a column called English product name. What is the column name? English product name. So now English product name column is in capital letters or proper case means it is in proper case now. Proper case means first character uppercase, remaining character lowercase. First character uppercase, remaining character lowercase. But client is not interested to see the product name in the proper case. In the report, client is not interested to see in the sentence case or proper case. Instead of proper case, they're expecting in what here? Uppercase. Again, the data in the SQL Server is in one format, that is proper case. But client is expecting to see the same product name in the report in uppercase. When the data in the source system is in one format, when the client is expecting in another format, where you need to transform the data again in the Power Query. You need to
Okay.
bring the products table. You need to convert the product name in the, once after bringing the products table, that product name which is in the proper case, you need to convert it to the uppercase in Power Query. That uppercase you need to load into PowerPoint. That uppercase you need to use it in the reports. Like this, first you need to check your client requirements, guys. Your client is expecting to see the data. In which format you need to check it. Once you understand the client requirements, as per their requirements, you need to transform the data in the Power Query. I clearly written that. What is the second step you are going to do in the Power Query is transform the data as per what? Reporting needs
Reporting.
or reporting requirements. Who will provide these reporting requirements?
Right.
Clients. Requirements. Clients will provide. As per their requirements, we need to transform it. So now we have two requirements. One requirement is in the product data table, you need to convert the product name to what case?
Full
Uppercase.
name.
That is the first requirement. Second requirement is in the customer data table, you need to combine first name, middle name, last name to what? Full name. Let me show you. I'm just giving us two simple examples. We'll do lot of complex transformations in Power Query, but I'm giving a simple examples to make you understand. Look at here. First thing I need to do is I need to go to product data table. I need to convert the product name to uppercase. So one more important point I need to tell is, tell me to connect to the data sources to extract the tables into the Power Query. Have I written any code? No.
No.
If you remember, to bring the tables into the Power Query, I have not written any code, zero code, but you got it in the same way in Power Query. Second step is what? Once after extracting the table, second step is what? transform the data. Even to transform the data in the Power Query, you don't need to write any code. So I'm telling here in Power Query, you don't need to write any code even to transform the data. This Power Query editor user interface will contains lot of GUI options, guys. Power Query editor user interface will contains what? GUI options. What is the full form for GUI options? Is graphical user interface options. Graphical user interface options. Graphical user interface options. So Power Query editor will contains lot of GUI options, dozens of GUI options. Look at here. This new source is one GUI option. This group by is one GUI option. This split column is one GUI option. Use first row as header is one GUI option. Replace values is one GUI option. When I go to add column tab, conditional column is one GUI option. Duplicate column is one GUI option. Merge columns is one GUI option. Like this Power Query is full of options. So that options we will use for transforming the data. This GUI options is sufficient to extract the data. These GUI options are sufficient to transform the data. The GUI options we use to load the data. In Power Query to do the ETL, we don't write any code. Either to extract the data, we don't write the code. Either to transform the data, we don't write the code. Either to load the data into Power Pivot, we don't write the code. Then what we will do? We'll use what? Graphical user interface options, guys. Now we understand to bring the data into Power Query, we use which GUI option? New source. In the same way, in the product data table, I need to convert the product name to uppercase. To convert the product name to uppercase, we need to find out the right option. We need to find out which option here? GUI option. In Power Query, we are telling that we will transform the data with options. You need to know what option will do that. So I know that in the transform tab, under format, there is something called what? Uppercase. See, this uppercase is one GUI option, which is available under where? Transform tab, format. Here you have that. When you go and click on this data will be converted to the uppercase. Understand now, as soon as I go and click on this uppercase GUI option, in the applied steps, it will add a third step. Currently, you have 2 steps already. It will add a third step and it will convert the product name to uppercase. Look at here. Go to transform, format, click on uppercase. As soon as I click on uppercase, it added one third step and it got converted the product name to uppercase. Now you are seeing product name in uppercase or not? Yes, this is how my client want to see the data. Okay, we are done with transforming the data in the product data table. What is the another table you need to transform the data? Customer data table. In customer data table, what you need to do? You need to combine what? First name, middle name, last name to full name. What you need to do is hold the control button and select the 3 columns. Select first name first and then hold the control button, select middle name, last name. I need to combine these 3 columns to one column. That is nothing but one transformation. To transform the data in the Power Query, what you need to find out? GUI option.
GUI.
What is the right GUI option? To combine these 3 columns into one column, you need to find out. I know that in the add column tab, there is a GUI option with the name called what? Merge columns. That merge columns will help us to combine these 3 columns into one column. You need to just go and click on merge columns. As soon as you click on merge columns, it will add a third step and it will give the customer full name. Look at here. When I go and click on merge columns, it's asking what is the separator you want between first name and middle name and middle name and last name. Generally, what is the separator we will take? Space. And what is the name? Column name? Customer full name. When I go and press OK,
Name.
you will get customer full name here. Are you getting customer full name or not? Now, I brought the tables into the Power Query and I transform the data in the tables how I need the data in the reports. Right? The transformer data you need to load into where now? Power Pivot. Right? So here, what we understand is with just a click we are transforming the data. With just GUI options we are transforming the data. What is happening in the backend is behind every GUI option, Microsoft is writing the code, guys. In Power Query, to extract the data, we no need to write the code. To transform the data, we no need to write the code. To load the data, we no need to write the code. All that code on behalf of you, Microsoft is writing. Let me tell you. Behind every GUI option, behind every GUI option, Microsoft already written the code. Microsoft already written the code. And when you use the GUI options, when we use GUI options, code will execute and give the results. Code will execute and provide the results. Let me show you. Provide the results. What we are trying to tell is, see, you have in the home tab, you have a GUI option called group by. Under this group by, already some code was written by which company? Microsoft.
Microsoft.
When you use the GUI option, whatever the code is there behind this, that code will execute. That code will give the result. Now we are telling that behind every GUI option, there is a code was written. When a code was written, it need to written with one language. What is the language they use there
Yes.
is M language, guys, not DAX language, M language. Understand? So how you
Mhm.
have C language, how you have C++ language, how you have Java language in the software field. There is one more language with the name called what? M language.
M.
That M is the language which Microsoft used behind what options? GUI. What is the full form for M language is mashup language. Mashup language. M full form is mashup. Let me show that mashup language code. Look at this. In the product data table, we converted the product name to uppercase. I want to go on remove this step. When I go on remove this step, now product name is in proper case again. I need to convert it to uppercase. For that, what we did, we selected the product name column. We went to transform. We went to format. We click on what? Uppercase. I said that behind this uppercase, already Microsoft written the code. In which language they written the code? M language. When I
M.
click on this, that code will execute and will give the result. See, I said that when I go and click on this, it will add the third step, right? Behind the third step, it will write that code, guys. Look at this. When I go and click on this, it added third step. When I select the third step, for the third step, what code it was written, you can see here. This is the mashup language code. Am I the one who written this code? Means no. You are getting this code automatically when I use the GUI option. So it is using a M language function called text.upper. To that M language function, we are passing the product name column. This text.upper is the function which will convert this product name to uppercase case. So do you need to learn how to write this code? Means you no need to learn. So you just need to learn what options are there, when to use it. Behind every options, already that code will be there. You no need to write it. In the same way, in the customer data also, I derived the full name, right? I'll remove it. Now full name is not there. How we derived it? We selected first name, middle name, last name. We went to which tab? Add column tab. We click on what? Merge columns. I said that behind every GUI option, already you will have which language code? M code. When I go and use this, the M code will execute and give the result. Now when I go and click on merge columns, when I go and choose the separator as space, when I choose the new column name as customer full name, just see it will add one step here. Behind that step, it will write the code. When I go and press OK, it add a third step. And when I go and check it, you got the customer name. When I go here, you can see the M language code here. This time it is writing a different code. So each GUI option have a different code. This time what code it is writing? It is using a M language function called what?
Text
Text.combine.
dot code.
It's a M language function. To that function, it is passing first name, middle name, last name. For that columns, what is the separator it is passing? Space. This is the separator, right? Now, when I go and edit this M language code, tell me, will this output change or remain same? In the space of space, I'm giving comma. When I give the comma here, will the output change or remain same? It will
It will
change.
remain
Look at
same.
here. It change. So when output is changing, the meaning is this is the code which is working in the backend to get the output. Previously, you have a space here. Now you have what? Comma. If I go and remove the comma, if I give the space, the output will change again. Right? Behind this code is responsible to get this output, guys. That's what. Right? We understand. We can extract the data using new source. We can transform the data using write options. as per the requirement. We'll understand all that. And we are done with 2 steps so far. I shown you how to connect and extract the data, how to transform the data. What is the last step? Load the data into Power Pivot. Now you bought the tables and you transform the data. You need to load the tables into the Power Pivot. To load the tables into the Power Pivot, you need to click on close and apply, guys. Close and apply will load how many tables into Power Pivot now? 6 tables. When I go and click on close and apply, all the 6 tables will be loaded into Power Pivot. Look at this, what it is doing now. Loading the tables. You can see here what it is doing. Loading the tables into the Power Pivot. Right. So once you load the tables, where you can see the tables is, you can see the tables in the model view. Now I am in which screen now again? Power BI Desktop. We close the Power Query screen. We are back to Power BI Desktop screen. Whatever the tables I loaded, you can find in the model view. When I go to model view, how many tables I loaded into Power Pivot is 6 tables. All the 6 tables I can see here. When I go to the
Sir,
table, when I go to data view, I can see the data in the table. When I go to products data table, I have the product name in uppercase or not. I loaded the tables into the Power Pivot. I'm seeing the data in the Power Pivot. Product name is in uppercase. When I go to the customer data table, in customer data table, you have customer full name column. I can use that columns in the reporting. Fine. You don't bother. So you'll understand about Power Pivot in tomorrow's class. Today, we just understand how to download and install what? Power BI Desktop. And then in Power BI Desktop, I shown you how to open what? Power Query. And once after opening Power Query, I shown you how to connect to the data sources, how to extract the tables, and then I shown you how to transform the data in the tables, and I shown you how to load the data into the Power Pivot. Tomorrow is the class number 3. I'll give you enough time for the questions, guys. Tomorrow is class number 3. In the class 3, we'll try to understand overview of Power Pivot software. Today, I explain about Power Query introduction only. Actual Power Query will be discussed for how many hours of time? 15 hours extensively we'll discuss ETL activities. Today I given only introduction of Power Query. Right. Now, and even I said that in Power Query, in order to perform ETL, you don't need to write any code. How you will do the ETL in the Power Query means you don't need to write the code. We will do it using what? GUI option. Behind that GUI option, who already written the code means Microsoft. They written the code using which language means mashup language. Do you want to learn M language means no need to learn. See, M is a complex language like C language and Java language. How Java language is difficult to learn, M is also difficult. So it is not necessary. Only you need to learn is in Power Query, what are the different GUI options we have, when to use which option. So 99.9% of time in the Power Query, we will transform the data in the using GUI options itself. There are exceptional cases. We'll write our own M language code. Exceptional cases. That also I'll tell you how to write the M language code. We will discuss in the actual Power Query classes. I said that 15 hours extensively we'll talk Power Query, right? That time I'll discuss it. So today, as we are done with understanding at a high level what is Power Query, we extracted the tables, we transformed the data in the tables, we loaded the tables. In tomorrow's class, I'll show you what I'll do practically in the Power Pivot, how I'll create a OLAP database in the Power Pivot. Fine. Let's go with some questions now.
sir, just tell me
You'll
like
get the video.
after